How's it going, everybody? How's it going, everybody? In this video, alright, y'all, so I'm going to break down two of my matches from Grappling Industries. At this point in time, I was only training Jiu-Jitsu for maybe about a year and a half, give or take. And I came into this tournament 15 pounds lighter than everybody else, and I won gold. So this is actually my second match right here. And my first match, I won by some like 25 points to 25 to 0. Could have finished the guy, but it was like my warm-up match, so I didn't get the finish. But still pretty dominant display. I'll do a video on that one later. Okay, so as you can see right here, that's actually one of my favorite entries and my favorite ways to take somebody down. These days, now that I've gotten better at that sequence, I usually try to fake it, try to get them to go for a single leg. And once I get this kind of front headlock, and usually I get a single arm on one side as well, again, arm trap. When I get this position, usually, no matter what they try to do, they cannot get out of it. Now, I think there's only one counter to this, and it's a wrestling sit-out. But other than that, if they try to go for that single leg, all they're doing is helping me sprawl them down. Now, maybe there's a really strong and explosive wrestler that could really finish a single leg from this position, but I haven't really had that happen. Once I get this position right here, usually it's just a matter of time. They're going down. Obviously, in the white belts, you're not going to see a lot of people being able to get out of this. Now, I do have a pretty tight guillotine, but I'm not committing to a guillotine because my intention is not to submit them here. I probably could get the guillotine, but I don't rely on it just because it's not a really high percentage submission. Unless you really got that arm sunk in, I don't want to like fatigue myself, especially because this is only the second match, and I have two more matches after this anyway. So I'd rather be safe and try to sprawl them down, especially because I'm really confident in this position. And really, I'm using all that squat and deadlift strength and whatever, hugging strength I developed here to really get the hips in and sprawl them down. Now, right here, this is a bit of a lazy back take. You probably can see what's about to happen next. Ideally, maybe I should have sprawled him down a little bit more because he's on one leg and one knee. And now my hips are too high and I'm off balance. I've definitely worked on that since then. Getting my hips lower and maybe getting my legs a little bit farther out as I'm taking them back might have made this more successful. See, my hips are way too high on top of his. So he was able to roll out of it. Which for me is okay because this is actually, I'd say closed guard is usually my plan B. I can almost always win a match from closed guard, as you're about to find out. So I have submissions from closed guard. I have Kimuras, straight arm bars, and plenty of sweeps. But you're going to see a move that I use that is not very common. Most people don't expect. And right here. So this, I'm grabbing like a cross collar. And then I'm shrimping out, almost like I'm about to switch to half guard almost. And I'm trying to sprawl into a front face-lock position again, the same position that I took him down into. Right here I was unsuccessful because he grabbed my leg. Now he thinks he's going to pass. But no, my guard is pretty hard to pass, especially nowadays. Now here I was going for the Kimura, but for whatever reason, like Kimuras, if I'm not thoroughly warmed up yet, for some reason, I just, minor details are lacking. Like, I had it, but my grip is all whack. Well, actually, I think it's because I'm on the wrong side. So if I was a little bit more at a different angle, at a more advantageous angle. This is my legs are on the outside. Maybe if I was in close guard. So I'm kind of like, if someone had better guard passing abilities, they probably would have passed my guard there. But I had the damn Kimura there. I just I didn't have the right grips and technique. I wasn't at the right angle, too far outward. And I could have probably sweeped them too. So there's my Professor Manny coming through. I have like 4 different coaches. I have like 5 different coaches right here yelling at me the whole time. It's pretty empowering. So I love that cross collar grip, and because of my grip strength, people have, even with good grip breaks, people have the hardest time breaking my grips. I did a little hip bump. It was a hip bump sweep attempt. But I don't commit to things in tournaments unless I know I'm going to get them. Right here, that is one of my bread and butters here. Is oh shit! Whoops. Skip too far ahead. This is my kind of like bread and butter close guard move, and it works a lot. As you can tell, I really love this position. Knees were on the ground there. Didn't have a lot of leverage. Boom. So that's a better back take, and this is how I win the majority of my fights. Is that kind of technical get up. What the fuck? That technical get up from close guard. There we go. I can get the back from almost any position now. Boom. Now my knees need to be off the mat. I didn't have enough leverage here because I wasn't putting my weight on him. My knees were on the mat. Usually you want to be kind of knees off the mat, leaning into the guy so he really feels your pressure. But clearly it didn't matter. And this is a better back take if you notice how far my feet are out from him. Otherwise, people would like grab the leg and hook. Now, boom, right here, boom. So of course, ideally a lot of people, they'll swing around to the side and then they'll swing around behind him, and then they'll kind of step forward and take the back. This was like a month into learning this. I'd only been practicing this actually for maybe 2 weeks at this point. Boom. Now this is awesome. Maybe not the cleanest back take, but this has really become my game as of late. And this is really where the end begins. And my professors tell me just to I guess cross face him and then do a rear naked choke. But for me, I felt like maybe my professor didn't know what type of choke I was going for, because I was really, really confident in this position and in my ability to choke people out from this position. So right here is where I lock in what's known as the kata hajime, which is basically, if you ever watched WWE or ECW, Taz, his finishing move is the Taz mission. And that's what it is, the kata hajime. It's like a judo move. So I get it's a half Nelson. So I got my half Nelson there on the left arm, on its left arm. And then I have a collar choke at the same time. And this can be used with no gi, but really this is a hard enough move to do in gi. No gi would be even harder, but it does take quite a bit of strength to get it. And I'll tell you what really helps is being on his side like that. How I'm angled out to the side, I'm not still on his back. That's very, very key and important. Another thing, though, is I think the one reason why it was really hard for me to really get this choke and why it felt like I needed more kind of strength is because my half Nelson is a little too low on his bicep, and it needs to be higher around his elbow joint, actually. Believe it or not. But I'm actually in the half Nelson. I'm pressing down on the back of his neck and head with my left arm, and I'm motorcycle revving, kind of like with my right hand, like twisting my wrist. If I remember, of course. Otherwise, I'm just like trying to choke him with a damn collar or whatever. But yeah, So right here, that was just weird. Well, first of all, I'm not generally a bad sportsman. I was just so exhausted. I didn't really feel like I wasn't really exhausted, but you know how it is. Um, I didn't feel like shaking his hand. I just didn't feel like the energy was there. I need to breathe a little bit first. But he rubbed my beard. And this guy, after this match, so he legitimately told me, thank you for taking my tournament virginity. Like, I am not kidding. And I don't know if this guy's just a joker like me or, what was up with that. But look at that. Why would you rub my beard, bro? What is up with that? Yeah, I was 15 pounds lighter than everyone in my division. This is a 210 pound division. I came in at like 192 pounds, and I asked everyone their weight, and yeah, they're all about 208, 205, 208. But yeah, after this match, he told me thank you for taking my tournament virginity. And I'm just like, because like he also had a match before that. I wonder if he told everyone that, or if he only told me that. I don't know. But I just felt like that was a little, it is what it is. It would have helped if he told me no homo after he said that, though. But he didn't, so I don't know. But he had his wife and kids there, so I don't know. I think he's just probably a cool guy, and, maybe he meant for it to be funny. I found it amusing. All right, so this is a gold medal match. Okay, that second match was probably my most dominant performance. I mean, the first one lasted the whole 5 minutes, but I had like a 25-0 score, so that was really dominant. But I didn't finish the match. So I'd say that second match, because I finished in like 2 minutes and 30 seconds with positions and with a choke. This is the gold medal match. So by this match here, this is the fourth match that I had. I'd already beat every single one of them before this. And I'll admit, the third opponent I faced and then this one, I'd say would have been the more challenging ones because these guys are in way better shape and they're a lot more muscle. And this guy actually told me he had like a 450-pound squat or something like that. So this guy was stronger than me technically. Still, though, he said he was 208 pounds when I asked him. So, and this guy looked pretty damn scary, to be honest. But I already tore through everyone else. Also, this guy also beat everyone else as well. So we both had a 3-0 record here. And so we both were pretty equal in that regard. Now, my brain at this point, because every opponent before this, I had worked the stand-up game and tried to take them down. This one, like, that was a half-ass, half-guard pull right there. I don't know what I was thinking. After I did that, I was like, oh, that was not supposed to happen. My plan was to always stay on top and to take everyone down and work the stand-up. Oh, fuck. My plan was not to like half guard him, but my mind was exhausted. My body was fine. So in my mind, I had these thoughts like, oh, you need to like play it safe here. This is your fourth match. You don't want to spend time like on the stand up. I just basically, my mind kind of didn't want to do the stand up. So, like, my game plan just went out the window here. Even though my body was not exhausted. Like, do I look exhausted? Look at my posture. So, yeah, and I'm always confident in this. And the thing is, this guy, I later found out, as we'll see as we go along, doesn't really seem to be confident in his stand-up either. So, if I would not have given up on the stand-up here, I probably would have scored the takedown and finished this match a lot sooner. And usually when I pull half guard, because I will pull half guard from here, I don't usually pull close guard from standing. I will pull half guard. Number one, because they don't expect it. Number two, it's just for whatever reason really easy and intuitive for me. Number three, there's an instant sweep from half guard that sometimes will get you takedown points when you pull like this. And I think I'm just really good from half guard. I have a lot of things, and I could stand up from half guard pretty easily. So, and I think I did that in this match actually. Yeah, so usually when I pull half guard, I get the hook higher. But this was purely just my mind like freaking out. My mind wasn't prepared for some reason. So like right here, it's like, bro, look at that open ass half guard. What the hell was I thinking? Now remember, I did win all of these matches, but this just goes to show, like, you make a mistake, it's like, doesn't mean it's the end of the world, but this is why competition experience is very important, especially at the white belt level. You want to get all of this stuff out of the way so you know what to expect as you go on. I think the longer your lower level career, a lot of times, like, the better your higher level career might be, right? Some people, they just want to skip the amateurs or skip the white belts and not compete and just go straight into the big leagues, go straight in the pros, or don't compete till you're in purple belt. And it's just like, you have so many mistakes you need to make and learn from first. And so that's kind of what I did here. Yeah, and it's funny, even with my half-ass, like, half guard here, he's still having trouble passing it. But I think I let him pass this just because, like, after I pulled half guard, my mind was instantly like, bro, these guys are 15 pounds heavier than you. You don't want them on top of you like this. Especially because my coach before this match was telling me they'll crush me if I don't have the knee shield. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get crushed. This was a bad idea. Now, the thing is, as I was in here and my mind was like, oh, that was a dumb idea. He's going to crush you. I also started to feel his weight on top of me. And number one, he doesn't have pressure or leverage because he's, a white belt, obviously. But the other thing is, like, he didn't feel as heavy as I thought. I realized I'm so strong and durable that his weight doesn't really hurt me. And even people with good leverage, provided they're not too heavy or whatever, 250 pounds or more, usually they don't crush me that bad. Unless this guy this guy doesn't have his shoulder in my jaw, his head in my jaw. He doesn't know how to use, like, pressure to pass my half guard. So this didn't feel that bad. So after I kind of relaxed a little bit and I was like, all right, Wolfgang, you're doing fine. You pulled half guard and didn't take him down, but you can still win this. I was like, man, this guy doesn't actually even feel that heavy. So then I got my confidence back, and I was trying to get my mind back. So there I retained guard. I thought that I let him pass my guard at some point, but I guess I'm wrong. Oh, there we go, yeah. So right there I was going to try to, like, hit to technical get up, but he passed. So right here, this is kind of like a technique I learned when I was preparing. Okay. Yeah, this is a technique I learned from Coach Ernest from Southside Fight Club. Now, admittedly, I didn't do it completely right, but the concept applies. Usually you'd hold his arm to your hip, and it's called a Homer Simpson. For me, though, so basically, as you could see, he passed my half guard, and he's trying to, like, go into full mount or whatever. And basically what I do is I'm, like, walking my legs around, and I'm not letting him take my back or my mount. A lot of people might think that's risky, right? Because I'm giving him my back. But that's the thing. I turn and I give him my back. So now he's moving his legs and trying to get the hooks in to go into back position. And for me, I take advantage of that by rolling over, sloppily, of course. I had just learned this, like, 2 weeks before this. I roll in and I retain guard. So I've used this against purple belts, and I think some brown and black belts too. And even if I don't keep their hand to my hip when I do the Homer Simpson, which would prevent them from taking my back, I still tend to get this because they don't expect it. They think, oh, it's a white belt, he's new. Like, he's giving me his back. Don't ever turn your back in that position or whatever is what they're thinking. But so they don't expect that I'm doing it on purpose. So I turn around and then I retain guard, right? So I'm gonna play that again just because that's, like, a controversial move, right? Like a lot of people, they tell you not to do that. Okay, so ideally you don't want to let them pass your guard. And of course, usually you would shrimp into them, but not here. It's so much easier to turn around this way. It's just a higher risk move because you might get your back taken. But that works for me all the time. All right, so there we go. At this point, I'm like, he's got 3 points for passing my guard, and I got 0. But for me, I'm like, man, this guy is not that good. What the hell? I'm just laying there, and my Coach Rob, is like, Wolfgang, go over there. Like screaming at me. And he's there. Coach Rob and Coach Tiffany. Coach Rob is awesome. Tiffany is awesome too. Coach Rob is just a badass coach. All right, so here we go. Right, cross collar grip into that technical get up. Okay. This is my, again, that bread and butter move. Okay, cross collar grip, and he thinks he's passing, so I use that to my advantage. Boom, and I was gonna front face lock him and take his back, but he pulled guard on me. This is actually why. So when after seeing this, I realized this guy is not good at stand up. If I would have just played the stand up game and not pulled half guard, clearly from looking at this exchange, I probably could have taken this guy down because he probably would have just freaked out and pulled guard on me anyway. So right here, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm tanking through. He freaking pretty sure pulling half guard on me too. Didn't quite work out the way it did for me. So then I just smash past him right here. I learned this type of passing. Again, it's like there's a really weird exchange and scramble, but I learned this type of just smash through the guard from Southside Fight Club as well. Boom. I turn around and I take side control. And you can hear my team is getting all like pumped up. Okay, so now I take mount, and as you can predict, this is the end. This is the beginning of the end here. And now I'm like putting my arm in his throat to try to get him to turn to his side. I'm trying to bait the back take basically. Because if he turns to it, see right here, usually. And my team, when I start winning, they'll tell me to go to high mount and try to take an arm bar, but I'm not going to give up position for submission in this tournament. Especially as my gold medal match. Now right here, if that was me these days, I have the chair sit from Technical Mount to take the back, or to get the bow and arrow from Technical Mount. But this was, a month into competitive Wolfgang. This is like my first real competition mindset. Now clearly this guy does not know how to escape mount. His arms are all way out there. I'm just holding him down too. I'm like, I'm not really even like on point here either. Something to realize is you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be a couple notches better than your opponent. Now here I'm just keeping him in mount. Ideally though, I'd let him back take himself basically. Boom. Boom, son. Now my team is rooting for me. Now this guy's crazy, man. Look at this. This guy, like, I would say almost slams me here. Like, he's trying to throw me off his back. And then my back takes him. My team's all... Man, look. I'm all falling off. Look at that crap, bro. And I told the referee, I'm like, disqualify him. I was like, is that legal? Now right here, so as I'm trying to slip in this choke, we have the picture taker guy, Leon McGormack from Narcourt Pictures, taking my picture here. So I get this badass picture here that I use for my profile picture. I'm like posing with this guy on my back. And you can see as it pans. I posed for the damn picture. It was probably the most badass picture that guy's ever taken. And I got another picture right there that was really sick. And I'm just, cross my feet, but I got the choke in. So. And the key here is I'm on his back, and I don't have the angle for the choke yet. This is key here. So I won gold there. That was the gold. And I scream, I'm like, we're the gold! And my coach is like, no, Wolfgang, calm down, no. And then freaking Leon is laughing. He's like what the hell? Yeah. So that was one hell of a performance, in my opinion. I felt like that was the only reason that was a struggle is because I freaking pulled half guard instead of playing the takedown game. It's important to realize a lot of times your beliefs can like actually mess you up, even if you're better than the other person. Sometimes just by like perceiving that you're not, you can actually create like a self-fulfilling prophecy. All right, so that's it.